percent. Now what you have to know is that in this statement you need to digest and know that there were two accounts being invested on with different interest. Now the first thing is that it says the amount invested at 11% is 140% of the amount invested at 10%. The question is, do we know the amount invested at 10%? No. So let's represent a variable to represent the amount invested for 10%. So let's S be amount invested at 10%. Now in this case, we are supposed to now calculate the amount that was invested as 140%. So it means 140 over 100 times x will be equal to the 11% amount invested. So we are just doing the calculation. So it means that this, when you do the division, give you 1.4 x, which is equal to the 11% amount invested. Interest. Yes, so in this case, since 1.4% of x is equal to the 11%, then let's calculate the interest for the 10%. We all know that interest is principal times rate times time all over 100. So the principal is x. So for 10% is x. So x times the rate. Let's look for the rate. Now the rate here is for the number of month. So we are supposed to calculate is 10%. So 10 times the time, which is 3.5 or 3.5 years, all over 100. Now let's use our calculator. So 10 times 3.5 divided by 100. Divided by 100. That will give you 0.35x. So this is the amount invested, the interest for 10%. So interest 10% for 10% interest. Now let's calculate the interest for 11%. So that one, let's say interest 1, the interest 2 is going to be principal. Now remember, the principal becomes the amount invested here. So 1.4x times the rate is 11%. So 11 times the number of years, 3.5, all over 100. Let's do that calculation too. We have 1.4 times 11 times 3.5 divided by 100. So we are getting 0.539x. Remember, it's x, so 0.539x. And the statement says that when, after doing that, the sum of the interest gave you an amount of 2,258.60. So let's find the x. So it means 0.539x plus 0.35x is equal to 2,258.60. So here you are going to get the value here. So let's do the addition. Plus 0.35. So we will be getting 0.0889x is equal to 2258.60. So let's find the value of x. So the value of x is going to be divide by 0.8. So 2258.60 divided by 0.899889, and our value is going to be x is equal to 2540.61. So this is the value you are getting for your x, 2540.61. This is the value you are getting for the x value. Now we are supposed to calculate for, so let's calculate for the amount for 11%. So it's going to be 11x. So let's multiply it by x. That is, this implies 11 times 2540.60. So let's multiply times 11. And we are going to get, for 11% interest, is equal to 27946. Okay, so let's calculate for that. So 11%. So now we are going to calculate for the 11%, and the value for 11%, the amount invested is 1.11x. So let's multiply it by x. That is, this implies 11 times 2540.60. So let's multiply times 11. And we are going to get, for 11% interest, is equal to 27946. Okay, so let's calculate for that. So 11%. So now we are going to calculate for the 11%, and the value for 11%, the amount invested is 1.11x. So let's multiply it by x. That is, this implies 11 times 2540.60. So let's multiply times 11. And we are going to get, for 11% interest, is equal to 27946. Okay, so let's calculate for that. So 11%. So now we are going to calculate for the 11%, and the value for 11%, the amount invested is 1.4 times the x, which is 2540.61. So we are having 1.4 times 2540.61, and that'll give you 3556.9. So in the rounding to the nearest value, we're going to get in cedis 3,500, 85,506. 0.00 3,556. Yes, so we're going to get 3,000, 35,560, 35,560, and that is your answer. Now take this as your assignment and practice more on percentages. Have a nice day.